Anna Miller's breath synchronized with the gentle waves crashing against the shores of Haven Bay. In her small studio, she leaned over her desk, her hands swiftly sketching the outlines of a new garden project. The warm desk lamp cast a glow over her wavy brown hair, illuminating the face of a young woman deeply passionate about nature. Beyond the window, the night sky sparkled with countless stars, but inside, a growing unease filled the room. Landscape design had always been Anna's dream, yet reality wasn't as kind. Her studio was struggling financially, and if she didn't land a new project soon, she might have to close it forever. The sudden ring of her phone shattered the quiet atmosphere. It was late, far too late for casual conversations. Seeing Emma Brooks' name on the screen, Anna frowned. Emma rarely called this late. "Anna," Emma's voice trembled, "I need your help. Please, I don't know what to do." Anna immediately sat up. "What's wrong?" Emma took a shaky breath before whispering, "My family is forcing me to marry Robin Carter this weekend." Anna froze. Robin Carter, the powerful, wealthy real estate mogul who owned countless properties in Haven Bay. But more importantly, Emma didn't love him. "I love Liam," Emma sobbed. "But if I don't marry Robin, my father will lose everything." Outside, the ocean waves continued their rhythmic lull. But inside, Anna knew that Emma's life was about to change forever. Anna gripped her phone tightly, feeling the desperation in Emma's voice. She couldn't imagine being forced to marry someone she didn't love, especially when her heart belonged to someone else. "What do you need me to do?" Anna asked, determination filling her voice. Emma took a deep breath. "Help me escape." Anna hesitated for a moment. "Are you sure? If you run away, your family will be heartbroken." Emma's voice trembled. "I love my family, but I can't live with someone I don't love." Anna knew Emma had never been more serious. If she had made up her mind, Anna wouldn't let her fight this battle alone. "All right," Anna said, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "We need a plan, and I think I know exactly how to do it." Anna's plan was simple yet bold. She would disguise herself, crash the wedding, and create a massive scandal. The distraction would be enough for Emma to escape with Liam. "Disguise yourself? What do you mean?" Emma asked nervously. Anna smirked. "Just wait and see. I'm not just a landscape designer. I'm also an excellent actress." She spent the entire night perfecting her transformation. She changed her hairstyle, applied bold makeup, and chose a deep blue dress, elegant yet eye-cocking. Finally, she slipped on a pair of thin-framed glasses, a subtle but effective change to her appearance. The next morning, Emma handed Anna a wedding invitation, but the name printed on it was different. Isabel Hart. Anna raised an eyebrow. "Isabel Hart?" Emma nodded. "A guest from out of town that no one really knows personally. I tweaked some details so you can use it to get in." Anna twirled the invitation between her fingers and smirked. "I like the name." She glanced at Emma again, her expression growing serious. "Are you absolutely sure about this?" Emma clenched her hands, taking a deep breath. "I'm sure, and I trust you." Anna smiled, her resolve solidifying. "All right, get ready, Emma. By the time this wedding is over, you'll be free." Outside, the sun began to rise, signaling a new day. But Anna knew that in just a few days, the storm she was about to unleash would change everything forever. The ceremony was nothing short of perfection. From the pristine white roses lining the aisle to the soft glow of candles reflecting off Emma's elegant gown. Guests whispered excitedly, waiting for the moment when the bride and groom would exchange vows. But Anna knew that moment would never come. Sitting at the back, she clutched the invitation marked Isabel Hart, her sharp gaze scanning every detail of the room. Robin Carter stood at the altar, exuding confidence as if he had control over everything. But that was about to change. The officiant began reciting the vows. Emma swallowed hard, her hands trembling as she gripped her bouquet. Anna stood abruptly. "Stop!" The room froze. Every head turned toward her. Anna strode forward, her lips curving into a smirk. "Robin, are you really going to marry her without telling her the truth?" Robin's gaze darkened. "Who are you?" Anna sighed dramatically. "How disappointing. I thought you'd at least recognize me." She reached into her purse and pulled out a carefully edited photo, one showing Robin standing intimately with a woman who looked eerily similar to her, his hand resting on her waist. Emma's eyes locked onto the image, her face draining of color. "Robin, what is this?" Her voice shook. Robin's jaw tightened, but before he could respond, Anna spoke again. "You never told her, did you, that you once loved me, and then tossed me aside like I was nothing?" The guests erupted into whispers. An older woman muttered, "I always suspected he had secrets." Emma's hands trembled, her breath hitching as tears welled up in her eyes. "You told me I was the only one. You promised." Robin reached for her. "Emma, don't listen to her. This is just some sick joke." "How can I believe you?" Emma cried out, tears streaming down her face. She let the bouquet slip from her fingers and, in front of the entire crowd, turned and ran out of the wedding hall. Anna smiled as she spotted Liam waiting outside for her. Robin turned back to Anna, his expression dark with rage. "You think you can pull this stunt and walk away without consequences?" Anna tilted her head, her voice light yet deadly. "Oh, I don't think. I know." And at that exact moment, Emma disappeared through the doors. Anna folded her arms, her eyes sharp as Robin opened the car door. Before her stood a grand estate, but what truly caught her attention was the vast yet abandoned garden in the back. Robin stood tall, his voice steady. "I don't know who you are, but you turned my wedding into a public disaster. Did you really think I'd let that slide?" Anna raised an eyebrow. "If you're planning to sue me, go ahead. I did nothing wrong." Robin let out a low chuckle, his gaze dangerously amused. "Oh, you did. You slandered me in front of an entire town. If I take you to court for defamation, do you think you stand a chance?" Anna's stomach tightened. She knew Robin wasn't bluffing. A man like him could destroy her life if he wanted to. "What do you want?" she asked, forcing herself to stay calm. Robin crossed his arms, looking toward the garden. "Fix it. Bring it back to life." Anna blinked in surprise. "What?" Robin turned to her, his gaze unwavering. "My mother loved this garden, but after she passed, it was abandoned. I want it restored. You have two choices: work for me or prepare to face me in court." Anna clenched her fists. She wasn't the type to be threatened. Every part of her wanted to refuse, to walk away. But Robin Carter wasn't just some ordinary man. He had power, influence, and the ability to ruin her career with a single lawsuit. Was restoring a garden worth dealing with him? She exhaled, her shoulders stiff. "Fine," she finally said. "But I have one condition. I do it my way, you stay out of it." Robin studied her for a long moment before nodding. "Deal." Anna exhaled, knowing her battle with Robin Carter had just taken a completely new turn. Anna started working the very next morning. She spent hours inspecting the abandoned garden, dead rose bushes, stone paths buried under vines, and soil that had long lost its fertility. From the steps of the estate, Robin watched her with crossed arms. "You look lost." His voice was laced with amusement. Anna didn't bother turning around. "If you're not going to help, at least don't get in my way." Robin smirked. "I'm just wondering, are you sure you're capable of this?" Anna turned to face him, eyes blazing with determination. "I've never failed." Robin studied her for a moment before walking away. That evening, Robin stood on the balcony, looking down at the garden. Anna was still there long after the sun had set, her hands covered in dirt as she stubbornly tried to pull out a dead tree stump. She groaned in frustration, but refused to give up. Robin had met many people in his life, socialites, business partners, women who only cared about status. But Anna was different. She didn't seek power or money. She only cared about bringing something lifeless back to life. The next morning, when he saw her struggling again, he sighed and walked toward her. "Let me." She looked up, surprised to see Robin rolling up his sleeves and crouching down beside her. "What are you doing?" she asked. Robin shrugged. "Helping." Anna chuckled. "Didn't peg you as the hands-on type." Robin didn't reply, simply dug his hands into the soil. "You've made me curious. I want to see if you can actually turn this place around." From that day forward, Robin started showing up regularly. He brought her coffee in the mornings. He helped her till the soil, plant new flowers, and even picked up stray pebbles from the pathways. One afternoon, Anna accidentally cut her hand on a thorn. Before she could react, Robin grabbed her wrist and led her inside, pulling out a first aid kit. "You're overreacting," she muttered as he carefully dabbed antiseptic on the wound. "You can't work if your hand gets infected." His voice was steady, but his grip on her hand was surprisingly gentle. Anna looked at him, a strange flutter in her chest. This wasn't the Robin Carter she had met before, the arrogant businessman in expensive suits, obsessed with power and reputation. The man in front of her was someone else. Someone who knelt beside her just to help plant a rose bush. Someone who held her hand just to make sure she wasn't hurt. But Anna refused to let herself be swayed. "I don't think these little gestures will change my mind about you," she said, her voice colder than she felt. Robin chuckled, his gaze unwavering. "I don't need you to change your mind. I just want to help." In the days that followed, Anna realized Robin was no longer her enemy. She saw him smile more. Sometimes, when he thought she wasn't looking, she caught him watching her. Not with arrogance, but with something softer. Something she couldn't quite name. But Anna wasn't sure if she could trust him. Robin Carter wasn't the type of man to change so easily. So why did he feel so genuine? That evening, Anna sat on the stone bench in the garden, watching as the newly planted roses slowly bloomed. The restoration wasn't complete, but the garden was already coming back to life. Robin approached, hands in his pockets. "Taking a break already?" Anna rolled her eyes. "Not all of us have the luxury of slacking off, Robin." He smirked, but this time there was no teasing in his expression. Instead, he sat beside her, silent for a long moment before speaking. "Do you really think I wanted to marry Emma?" Anna frowned, caught off guard by the question. "Why are you asking me that?" Robin exhaled, his gaze fixed on the garden. "I never loved Emma. That wedding, it wasn't my choice." Anna let out a small, amused laugh. "So, you were forced into it? I thought Robin Carter never did anything he didn't want to do." Robin was quiet for a moment before replying. "My family doesn't work the way you think. Everything in my life has been decided for me. Who I should marry, what I should do, who I should become. My father makes sure of it." Anna blinked, startled. She had never imagined someone like Robin living under someone else's control. "Then why didn't you refuse?" she asked, her voice softer now. Robin scoffed. "You think it's that simple? If I refused, my father would destroy everything I built. Everything I worked for would be gone." Anna studied him carefully. For the first time, she realized Robin Carter wasn't as untouchable as he seemed. He carried burdens no one else could see. "Then why are you here?" she asked. "Why didn't you throw me out the moment I ruined your wedding?" Robin turned to her, his gaze deep and unreadable. "Maybe because I never really wanted to marry Emma in the first place." His words sent a shiver through Anna's chest. Robin continued, his voice lower. "You did something I never had the courage to do. You stopped a marriage neither of us wanted." Anna's heart tightened. She didn't know what to say. Robin Carter was changing. She no longer saw arrogance in his eyes. Instead, she saw loneliness, a quiet longing for something more. "Thank you, Anna." His voice was barely above a whisper. "You gave me the chance to choose my own path." Anna looked at him, her heartbeat unsteady. She wasn't sure what this meant, but she knew one thing. Robin was no longer the man she once hated. That night, Anna stepped into the garden, taking a deep breath. The cool night air carried the soft scent of blooming roses. After months of hard work, the garden had finally come back to life. Vibrant roses stretched toward the moonlight, and the stone pathways led into a scene straight out of a fairy tale. And in the middle of it all, Robin Carter was waiting. Anna stopped in her tracks, her heart pounding at the sight of him. Robin wasn't wearing his usual expensive suit. He stood there in a simple white shirt, sleeves rolled up, his expression unreadable, but his eyes, soft and warm, were locked onto hers. "What are you doing out here?" she asked, her voice quieter than she intended. Robin smiled slightly. "Waiting for you." Anna frowned. "For me?" Robin stepped closer, the depth in his gaze reflecting the moonlit roses around them. "Anna, you've changed my life." His voice was steady, but there was something raw beneath it, something hesitant, as if he wasn't used to admitting vulnerability. "For years, I've followed every rule set for me, but you made me see what freedom feels like." Anna froze, caught off guard. Robin continued, never looking away. "The first time I met you, I thought you were just trouble, but then you made me see things differently. You didn't just bring this garden back to life. You made me want to be better." Her chest tightened. "Robin," she whispered, unsure of what to say. He took another step forward, closing the space between them. "I've never had the chance to choose my own life, but this time, I choose you." Anna held her breath as Robin gently took her hand. "I love you, Anna." His voice was soft, but the certainty in his words was undeniable. The night air was cool, the wind carrying the delicate fragrance of roses. Anna's heart raced. She had spent so long fighting Robin Carter, convincing herself that he was just another arrogant businessman, another obstacle in her way. But right now, standing beneath the moonlight, she realized something terrifyingly simple. She didn't want to fight anymore. She wanted to stay. Slowly, she squeezed his hand in return. Her voice faltered. She had spent so much time resisting, convincing herself that Robin Carter was nothing more than an arrogant businessman. But now, looking at him, standing under the moonlight, she realized that somewhere along the way, she had stopped fighting. She took a deep breath. "I love you too." Robin blinked for a moment, then let out a quiet chuckle, a real, unguarded laugh of happiness. And then he leaned in, pressing a soft, lingering kiss against her lips. This time, there was no challenge, no battle of wills. This was real. This was a promise. All around them, the roses bloomed beneath the moonlight, just like their love, which had endured every storm to finally flourish in its brightest form.